Deadline have revealed that Oscar-winning filmmaker James Cameron has acquired the rights to Charles Pellegrino's forthcoming book, Ghosts of Hiroshima. Cameron plans to use this along with Pellegrino's 2000 book, Last Train from Hiroshima, as the basis for a film he intends to shoot once production on Avatar permits. Cameron shared with Deadline that the two non-fictional books will be combined into one uncompromising theatrical film. This will be Cameron's first non-Avatar film since his 1997 Oscar-winning Titanic.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, the film, titled Last Train from Hiroshima, is set to coincide with the release of Pellegrino's Ghost of Hiroshima, which will be published by Blackstone, publishing in August 2025.
That's a book I'd like to read.
The 80th anniversary of Hiroshima bombings in 1945. The film will partly focus on the true story of a Japanese man who survived the atomic blast in Hiroshima during World War II, boarded a train to Nagasaki, and then survived the subsequent nuclear explosion. That's incredible. Both Pellegrino's books draw upon the voices of bomb survivors and the emerging science of forensic archaeology. Pellegrino's meticulously details the events and aftermath of 2 days in August 1945 when nuclear devices detonated over Japan, altering the course of history. At heart of both narratives are the first-hand accounts of those who witnessed the atomic explosions, Japanese civilians on the ground and American flyers in the air. The bombs are estimated to have killed between 150,000 and 246,000 people. And Cameron said, it's a subject I've been wanting to make a film about, one I've wrestled with over the years. He told Deadline, I met Tsutomu Yamaguchi, a survivor of both Hiroshima and Nagasaki, just days before he died. He was in the hospital passing the baton of his personal story to us. I feel a duty to tell it. I can turn away from it. During the visits with Yamaguchi, Cameron and Pellegrino pledged to pass on his unique and harrowing experience to future generations. So there's an importance to get this story out, John, and I can't think of anyone else whose hands I would rather it was in than James Cameron, and obviously based on Charles Pellegrino's research and interviews with first-hand witnesses to these terrible atrocities.
Oh, I mean, Stephen, I've read some of the sort of perspectives of people who were in that city at the time, and obviously just fucking suddenness of it. People were on rooftops and whatnot, and all of a sudden they're gone.
Yeah.
And there's shadows in the ground and on walls of where people were vaporised to this day. So it's such a shocking moment in human history. It's thankfully never been repeated. It's certainly not in a city with people living there. I mean, there's been lots of bombs dropped in Nevada, I think it is, or New Mexico, and obviously way up north in the Soviet era back in the day. Russia now. Don't know where Britain was dropping theirs, probably in the middle of the fucking Pacific or something, I don't know. There's been a lot of bombs dropped, but never on an actual population. So it's such a harrowing and shocking moment in human history.
Yeah.
And it's important. I don't think we've had a huge amount of light shone upon this. I don't know if Japanese directors or the Japanese film industries maybe covered it. I know there's some outstanding directors from there going back way many years into the past. I think one of the greatest ever directors was Japanese. I forget his name. People always talk about it. I'm not that
Kurosawa.
highbrow. Maybe him, Kurosawa. Yeah. Was that the one that did, or am I thinking about the French guy that did 3 different colours and that was the name of it?
Sure.
I think maybe the French guy, but I think...
know that obviously the likes of George Lucas was inspired by the Japanese...
So, I mean, there's absolutely unbelievable directors from that country. Just everything about that country, really, has produced excellence over the years in every conceivable fucking manner possible industry. Kurosawa, yeah. So I don't know if they've maybe covered these horrific
Seven
acts.
Samurai,
Yeah, he is the man, isn't he? Yeah. But certainly over here, I can't think of any films. There's been a lot of war films based around World War II, obviously Flags of Our Fathers. I think you had the double stuff, Japanese version, US version. You've had a lot of stuff.
Clint Eastwood. Both of them, yeah.
Yeah, it was something Iwo Jima or something.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of stuff about Stalingrad and the Eastern Front and the Western sort of side of things in Europe. Not been a lot of love shown upon this story, which is a harrowing story, and for obvious reasons, Hollywood won't want to glamorise what they did to the Japanese people, and they can say it was necessary and that the war would have went on in perpetuity if they didn't do it, but ultimately they did wipe out a fucking horrendous amount of people,
yeah.
and it did happen.
Yeah.
You've got to own it and show it. So I'm glad that James Cameron is taking ownership of this, and he's hopefully going to do it right. It sounds like a really interesting book. I would love to read that book, and the fact it's not fantastical, it's not some made-up person with his family escaping. It's based on, rough or loosely based on, a real guy who literally escaped from Hiroshima and also went to Nagasaki.
I think as well in terms of the narrative, it's because it's coming from that perspective, it's very important because, John, what was the World War One film we reacted to?
1917 and All Quiet on the Western Front.
All Quiet on the Western Front was the one I was thinking of. And in terms of the message that sent across was, what is the point of this? What is the point of war?
More than ever, we need this.
So I can see it coming from this film as well, this story. Just there's a lesson to be learned here, and I think it's a very important message, and certainly in today's society and everything that's happening in the world, to ram home this message in terms of war and power struggles and the sort of impact
nuclear bombs as well
it has, going forward as well, and what will it achieve?
I mean, with the sabre rattling that's going on, and obviously the conflict in Ukraine, proxy war from the West against Russia, obviously China and Iran and whatnot on the other side of the equation, effectively fighting each other without coming out and saying they're fighting each other. And all of the dangers that come with that, the pitfalls, potential tactical nuclear weapons being used, if not in Ukraine, maybe somewhere else. Never again should that be happening. It's totally unacceptable that it happened previously. And I can't think of a better guy to take that story and present it to the population. Not that people need that. I mean,
no, they don't, John. But the thing is, and it was one of the things we said, and we had a good conversation with many people in the comment section when we did All Quiet on the Western Front, was that what has mankind, humankind, learnt from that? They've absolutely learnt nothing. They just repeat it over and over again every 10 years.
It's just warring. We're a warring sort of species by design, Steve, and that's the way we are. We're just incredibly backward, motivated by wealth and money and raw materials and resources, grabbing them and lording over other people and thinking, I've got white skin, that person's got black skin, that means that I'm better than them. It's fucking bollocks. It's all bollocks. The whole thing's nonsense. But sadly, the people in power, they get a profit off of selling arms and misery of other people in other parts of the world. And as long as you can profit and increase your wealth on the backs of people who are dying, young guys who are dying in Ukraine and whatnot. I mean, I've seen some horrifying fucking videos, man, of these drones and what happens afterwards. It's young guys, man, that are there. They don't want to be there fighting. They're there, forced to fight, and they're getting blown to fucking bits. It's completely senseless, needless, pointless, but sadly someone's making money off of it, and it's probably governments and people in power. So as long as they're making money, we're going to keep getting this nonsense. You're going to keep poking the bear. And I think it's really important because, Steve, you spoke about this before. You could say it's fanciful. It's not really important in the grand scheme of things. Art, be it music, literal art, or film or TV, but it's highly influential for the general population. And if you can have a guy of his standing who has got multiple films right up there in the box office, clearly heavily invested. That doesn't look like a recent photograph of James Cameron. That looks quite a while back. So he's clearly known this Pellegrino guy, this writer, for a long time. He's been invested in this story for a long time. So he's passionate about it. If you can get a guy like that to make an anti-war film about the absolute insanity of using atomic or nuclear weapons on an actual population of people, then that can only be a positive thing.
Yeah.
Because you're presenting a narrative to the world that it should never, ever happen again.
Yeah, I think this chap, Satomu Yamaguchi.
Yeah.
I think this was just days before he passed away. I'm not sure what year it was, John, but
yeah,
that
2015. Yeah,
2015.
Yeah,
was that not the book?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
2015 book. I don't know.
I don't know. It just doesn't look like the way James looks now. He looks a lot older now. He looks a lot thinner. Dare I say? I mean, I'd have to search him up.
You could probably look up that chap's name, the Japanese fella's name, and see when he passed away, because it was only that photo was just days before he passed away, and it would give you an idea, obviously.
Yeah, I'll search him up just now then. Yeah.
But I mean, the other thing we should touch on as well, that in terms of projects, 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's a good 14 years ago.
14 years ago, John.
Nearly 15.
But it's incredible to think that James Cameron's been tied up in Avatar for
it's
so long.
fucking crazy.
And he committed himself to all these sequels as well, so it's his own fault.
I mean, Stephen, I like Avatar. I
Yeah.
mean, the first Avatar was unbelievable, pioneering for 3D, and it was just a lightning in a bottle film.
Yeah.
The second one I went and seen again, and it's fine, but this guy's wasted on stuff. I mean, I understand on a technical level they're a triumph, and what he's creating, and he's passionate about this story. And again, it's when it comes to it, it's about sort of negative traits of humanity and what they do to nature, and the fact that we've lost connection with what's important, ourselves internally, subconscious stuff, just nature, and being free of technology and corruption. He's exploring all of these things through Avatar, but I just can't help but feel he's wasted his prime years as a director on. I mean, they're average films for me outside of the technical stuff. They're average. They're not what Chris Nolan's doing.
That
They're not
message across in the first movie.
Yeah.
You know? I don't think you need 5 films to do that, but
he's capable of so much more.
It's obviously a passion project for him, John, and he wants to see it through. I get that.
I mean, he's not just directing the guy; he's fucking a deep sea diver and whatnot.
Yeah.
He's just an
He's
incredible human being.
Obsessive over obviously Titanic as well, and going down to those depths
Down
of
to
the
the
ocean.
Mariana Trench, he literally went deep to the deepest part of the earth. So he's an absolutely incredible human being.
I've always liked James Cameron, John. Obviously, Aliens, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He picked up from Ridley Scott, but
That's
from
actually better
then
than the first one for me.
obviously the Terminator films, so I nearly blanked on it there. The Terminator films, the biggest ones for me anyway. Just in terms of tone as well, the way that this guy can shift from, you know, a sort of horror, noir, tech noir sort of film of 1984 into an action, all bombastic, balls to the wall action film in the sequel as well.
He's really not made a lot of films at all.
No,
But
the thing, I mean, True Lies was fantastic as well, John. I really enjoyed True Lies. I don't know if you ever saw that, but The Abyss was the one I was trying to think prior to Terminator 2 because they used the same technology.
Yeah.
But a fantastic filmmaker. Titanic, take it, leave it.
I mean, I fucking loved Titanic back in the day.
I mean, I think
loved it.
I've seen some
me
of
obsessed with that shit.
I've seen some of the. I think they need to touch up some of the effects in that film. It's pretty dated, but in terms of story, it was a very interesting story to take the situation and create the story.
I mean, it kind of shows you, Stephen. I mean, you've mentioned all those things, and they're mostly sort of science fiction kind of films in the main, but it does show you that he's capable of taking a true event and faithfully recreating it and bringing it into the awareness of a new generation of people. He did that with Titanic, and it ignited an obsession and a wonder for a lot of people my age and maybe younger and maybe older as well in that ship, the sinking. There's nothing to suggest that you can't do this with this story. I mean, I don't think there's many people on earth that don't know about Nagasaki and Hiroshima bombings, but maybe if they're out there, then this guy making a powerful sort of anti-war film, that will bring it back to their attention. Yeah. But man, it's fascinating. I'd love to read that book. I need to try and get that book if it's not out already.
Sutomu Yamaguchi as well, John. I'm really interested to see this guy's story because that's an incredible life. It's obviously a privileged life by any means, but an incredible life. Certainly to witness both those events and survive both those events.
That's crazy.
I'm very interested to see his story, but.
It's like a fucking Final Destination, but real life. Imagine surviving one nuclear blast, going to a city and surviving another. You'd be like, I'm just supposed to live.
A cat, 9 lives,
Be like Adolf Hitler, but a good guy.
But
that
folks,
bastard kept surviving.
Are you looking forward to this project from James Cameron? It's been a while, obviously out with Avatar. His last project was obviously Titanic, way back in 1997. Even when I was reading that, I couldn't believe it, but yeah, it's true. I'm very interested in this. Do you know about these books? Have you read any of the books? Let us know in the comments section.